So when I think about my journey as a teacher, when I started 13 years ago, I always thought that I would just be a teacher. When I've been on two campuses and started in fourth grade, and at the campus that I was at, I did my thing. I was a teacher in fourth grade for 4 years. And then I looped up with those kids in my fifth grade year. And as I think back on it, a quote from our text by Ruben and Gigliotti says, "If you think that you're a leader and you turn around to find no one following, you're just someone taking a walk." So at that time, I just felt like I was just someone taking a walk. And then as I spent more time on that campus, I spent 9 years there. The more that I turned around, I felt that there were more people starting to follow. And it was at that point that I felt like I truly was a leader. If I think back, if you asked me 13 years ago if I would be where I am now, my answer to you would be no. I was much more, in my shell. I wasn't as outspoken as I am now, and I've grown a lot since then. And so when I think of myself as a leader, it's something that I've definitely grown into being. It hasn't been something that I have always thought that I would be from the very beginning. Since being on that campus, I have changed campuses, and so I thought being on this new campus, because I was very involved on my first campus, and I loved doing that. But moving on to this new campus, the opportunity, because I taught fourth and fifth grade, and then I was moved down to first grade, which wasn't my choice, and that's okay, because I ended up loving it. But an opportunity came up at a new campus where I could teach fourth grade RLA, and that's my jam. And so, of course, I jumped on the opportunity. And when I moved to this new campus, I was like, okay, well, these people don't know me. So I'm just going to sit back and relax, and I'm going to let the people who are on that campus just do their thing. And I'm, going to step back from being as involved as I was. But what I didn't realize is that my name was more known than I thought that it was. And so my reputation preceded myself. And within a year and a half, I was named the literacy coach. And so I am Amy Esparza. I am the literacy coach on my campus, in an elementary campus for pre-K 5. My role as a leader on that campus, I am part of what we call the core 4 of our ILT, which is our instructional leadership team, which consists of my principal, my assistant principal, our academic facilitator, and myself. And so, like I said before, we are the core 4. When you think of us, the instructional leadership team as a whole consists of the core 4, so the 4 of us, in addition to our programs facilitator, our special education facilitator, and then our counselor. So there's 7 of us in all that really are, kind of in that front office area. But when we meet for ILT meetings on Mondays, that is who typically meets. And so when you consider, residence activation and cultivation, I'm very new to this role, but there have been many opportunities where I've been able to work through these things. And although it is very new to me, it did take some time for me to think about, places where I have been able to utilize these things, this theory. But we did have a situation last year where I was able to, and so I'm here to talk to you about that. So last year, after our fall interim, in the state of Texas, we do have our STARS test, and that takes place in April. But before that, we do our fall interim, and then that usually takes place in, I want to say, October or November. I believe it's October, because we want to kind of get a baseline for where kids are. And typically it's the previous year's STAR test. So at that point, given that it's in October, or given the fact that it's taken in October, and kids are being assessed on everything up to that point. It's not a true reflection of everything that they know, because that's one, it's assessing everything up in that grade level, and they've only been in that grade level for 3 months. But it also gives us an idea of like where kids are. It gives us a pretty good gauge. It's not exactly everything from the test, it's kind of everything up to that point, but it is like the star released for what's been taught to that point in the year. And so when we saw our interim scores for our third, fourth, and fifth graders, especially in the area of RLA, because I am the literacy coach, we were really unhappy with the results that we were seeing. And being that, prior to that year, we had been in a place where we hadn't been IR since 2018 or 2019, but with, COVID and so many years without ratings, we had gone to, I think, an F in 2023, but then we had brought it up. Our leadership team and the time that I was on that campus, we brought it from an F to a C, and so we were in a C at that point, and so we really wanted to maintain being, that upward growth. And so seeing these interim scores, we knew that we had to take action. And so for me, the kind of person that I am, like, I'm ready to go. Like, if we're seeing these scores on Tuesday, like, I'm looking at the scores as soon as they're coming in, and I'm ready to go, like, on Tuesday. Like, let's like, how are we going to react? Like, we never want to be in a reactive position, but we know that we've got to do something. And so as soon as that took place, I think we went on like a fall break, and as immediately coming back from that fall break, we always have a teacher PD day. And so what I began doing is looking at the data. I started rewriting outlines for teachers. So we do have an HQIM, a high quality instructional material, which is Amplify, that is designated by the state that we can use. And so we do use that. But what I did is I went in and I added in some pieces that would help bridge the gaps in some of the areas that kids were not seeing success in. And so what I did is I rewrote the outlines where we were using majority of the Amplify, giving teachers a lot of small group time and really targeting certain kids. So in that resonance piece, when I brought this back to teachers, I said, this is where we are, and this is what is going to help our kids. And so once, that information was brought to them, they can see, okay, this is making sense. I can see why we need to do this. And I already had really great relationships with all these people. When I went to this campus, I was in fourth grade, and then I went, into this literacy coach position with people that I had worked with directly. And so they know me, we have great relationships. And so it wasn't difficult for them to see, we have a great understanding of the beliefs and, the values, that the goals that we have. Like, we all have very similar goals for our students. And so they understood exactly what we were looking at and where we needed to go. And then in that next step, in that activation piece, I took in their feedback. I said, okay, this is what I've come up with. You know your students best. What do we need to do next? What changes need to be made to this? What can we do to enhance this? What can you do? Like, what can we do together? And I really wanted to make sure that they felt like they were part of the process. I never wanted to go to them and say, okay, hey, here's this, you're not doing your job, here's what you need to do, and this is what we're going to do. And that's just that, because that's never what I wanted. As a literacy coach, I'm there to support you. I can give you the tools and I can help you implement those tools, but I'm never there to make you feel like you're not doing your job and that I'm giving you something to make you do your job better. Like, that's not what I'm there for. And so I really wanted to make sure that they were part of that process. So I, gave them the list of their kids, told them these are the ones that we need to really focus in on. How can we group them? When can we meet them? How can we ensure that we're hitting the things that they need? What skills do they need? And then really making sure that we're following through on those things. And then the cultivation piece, I just made sure that I stayed right next to them in the trenches, in their classrooms, with them. I wasn't there to coach them. I wasn't there, well, not that I wasn't there to coach them. I was there to coach them, but I was there to more to support them. I always tell them that I'm never in there. It's never an I got you. It's never the kind of thing where I am in there to make them feel bad, or they should never feel threatened by me when I'm in there. If they need support, or if they need me to jump in, or if they need something from me, then I'm there to help them. There were times where I might have done a model teach for the lesson, and then I would go back in, in the afternoon, because if they're departmentalized, maybe I taught the AM and they taught the PM, and then they were able to, see great success in their exit tickets in that PM class because of how I helped them with the AM class. And I think that's really what they started to see, like through that cultivation piece, and through, us kind of doing it through going through the process together and being in the trenches there together. They were able to see a huge improvement in their students' work, and in the quality of their writing. And so I really think that they saw the fruits of their labor. And so I think with all of this, it's not, and what I've learned through this entire program and through just communication and leadership in general, it's not about your ability to lead. It's about building those relationships and being able to communicate with people, and to be there. Like, we're all human, and we have to be there to support them as human. And one of the other things that I wanted to quote from our book was that in practice, leaders often follow and followers often lead. And in the ongoing dynamics of group and organizational life, it may be quite difficult to discern who is leading and who is following at any moment in time. It shouldn't be, oh, it's very obvious that she's the literacy coach and this is the teacher. It should never be that. We're walking hand in hand. We're a team. We walk next to each other. You're not in front, I'm not in front of you, and you're not behind me. And that's what I want my teachers to understand, is that it's never where, I'm better than you, I'm higher than you. We're all the same. I'm here to support you. I'm behind you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you push your kids. And I think that by building this relationship and really truly helping, teachers, or, whoever it is that you're supporting, just truly being able to, properly, be able to communicate and share those goals and ideas, that's where we're going to find the biggest success. So being a leader is not just that ability to lead, but it's the ability to connect with people.